Most professing Christians want to know when Christ will return. People continually set dates for his return and are continually disappointed. The major problem is that the majority of these individuals do not understand the sequence of events which foretell his return revealed in Matthew chapter 24. It is true that Matthew recorded that Jesus said, "No one knows about that day or hour, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father." Although the exact date of Christ's return is not found in the Bible, Matthew records the sequence of events that Christ said would lead up to his return, and the rest of these prophetic events are clearly revealed in the biblical record, that is, if you know where to look for them. After Christ foretold the destruction of the temple in Jerusalem, his disciples came to him and asked when these things would happen, when he would ascend to power, and when the end of the age would occur. Although Christ did not answer their question about the destruction of the temple, he did reveal many of the events that must happen before his ascent to power, and said the following about how to determine the timing of these events. Pay attention so no one deceives you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. And you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. Do not be afraid, for these things must happen. But the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, disease epidemics, earthquakes in different places. All of these are the beginning of sorrows. Since the establishment of the early church, there have been many false prophets and counterfeit Christians who have gone about deceiving people into false Christianity. There have also been wars and rumors of wars, conflicts among nations, famines, disease epidemics, and earthquakes. So these are not the events that foretell the imminent return of Christ. Christ said, Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall arise, and shall deceive many. And because lawlessness will increase, the love of many will grow cold. But those that endure to the end, they will be saved. What Christ said about being afflicted, killed, and hated, false prophets forsaking the faith, and endurance to the point of salvation, can only apply in the context of prophecies which speak of the few years before his return. Notice what Christ said to his disciples about the gospel. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness to all nations, and then shall the end come. Although the Bible is the world's most published and read book, the gospel Christ referred to is much different than the one currently taught by most of professing Christianity. It is the original good news message that will be proclaimed to the whole world before Christ returns. What Christ said next reveals an event that indicates that his return is very near. Therefore, when you see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, let the reader understand, then those in Judea flee to the mountains. This prophetic event recorded by Daniel is extremely significant because it is central to other events that will happen before Christ returns. This prophetic event has to do with the sacrificial system given to ancient Israel being reestablished and practiced at Jerusalem a few years before Christ returns. In order for this to happen, there must first exist an Aaronic priesthood, a place for sacrifice, a holy place, and a red heifer to sacrifice for purification rituals. After this warning to understand the significance of the prophetic event recorded by Daniel, Christ said the following, But learn the parable of the fig tree. When its branch is still tender, and it puts out leaves, you know that summer is near. So also, when you see all of these things, know that it is near the door. Truly I say to you, in no way will this generation pass until all of these things have happened. In this cryptic parable, Christ reveals that there is a specific sequence of events that will happen before his return, that individuals who know what events to look for will know that his return is near, and that these events will happen within a specific time frame. So what are the major events that lead up to Christ's return? The following are a few of the major events to happen a few years before Christ returns. The original good news message will be proclaimed throughout the world by true followers of Christ, which will be accompanied by their persecution and murder. The arrival of the third Elijah to warn Israelites scattered throughout the world to repent of evil and begin to worship their God or suffer the consequences. The emergence of a tyrannical political leader accompanied by a powerful religious leader who in concert will enforce their rule over most of the world through military might and religion. The appearance of two men in Jerusalem, given supernatural power by the sovereign God to do signs, wonders, and bring plagues on the earth to warn people to repent of evil and to worship the sovereign God or face his wrath. The murder of these two men signals the return of Christ and the end of human rule on earth. If you are interested in knowing the sequence of events that Christ said would lead up to his return, get a free copy of my book, Biblical Prophecies, Past, Present, and Future. Until next time, this is Bud Cockrell from BibleResearch.org.